left and right.
Left and right.
Hello, 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 everyone. You're listening to the very first issue of Big Data Month. It's the newest podcast by Big Data Club of ESCP Business School. In this podcast, we're going to be talking about everything data-related that happened in October. And not only. We're going to start by reviewing the news, the latest news of the data industry. And then we're going to discover our job of the month, which is data analyst. So stay tuned till the end to listen to this. Today, my name is Alexandre Ninoa, and actually all the days, and I'm more than happy to be joined by Maël Morand and Hugo Carotti in this podcast. So,
Hello there.
You can present yourself, guys.
Okay, I'll start if you don't mind. First, thank you very much, Alexander, to invite us to this first podcast. We are really pleased to be here with Hugo.
Very pleased.
It's a pleasure, huh?
So my name is Maël Morand. I'm here, like you guys, in Master in Big Data, MSc Big Data and Business Analytics in ESCP Business School. If you want, I can talk a bit more about my background.
Yeah, just explain us where you come from, like what's your...
Yeah, I'm French, so if you wondered, I did a first bachelor in Germany in international business, and then continued with a Master of Science in financial management in England and in France.
Great.
Wow. Well, so my name is Hugo. I studied in the UK in the University of Warwick, and I am now a computer scientist from that uni. So my background is very technical, and the reason why I joined the MSc is because I wanted to discover a bit more about business and, make my palette of skills a bit larger, so I would get more options for the future. So
that's great because we have a business and a tech approach at the same table. Me and Maël were more businessy, and Hugo is our reference when it comes to all things techy. So that's great news. I mean, we're gonna start with a news review. I mean, I can start with a small and short and maybe a little overused topic. I'm gonna talk about VPNs because
VPNs.
Are you all users?
Yeah, I do.
I have used VPNs, and I don't anymore.
Okay.
I try not to.
Oh,
is there a reason for that?
We're going to talk about that because that's interesting, because with all the media today saying that, you should use VPN, otherwise all the bad things in this world are going to happen to you. Well, we're going to talk about VPNs and why are they free and why are they not free, and if they're not free, why they're still not perfect. Well, in the latest review in October, there was a little review about data breaches in VPN. And you know what? They happen in VPN too. There are still companies, because they're private companies, and they can be attacked by hackers, which is a bit of a bummer for people who buy and pay money for a service that's supposed to conceal your data, conceal your virtual life. However, those breaches still happen. And let's be short about what VPN is. VPN is virtual private network. It's way to for an end user, it's a way to conceal your data activity, or your internet activity from your provider, from your government if you're somewhere. It allows you not only to browse internet safely and happily in a little bubble of a private internet network, but it also allows you to mask your appearance and appear as a German user even though you're in the US, or vice versa. It all depends on the servers. And now it's been used more and more by everyone. I think even now, 5 years ago, I didn't know what was a VPN. I knew, I had a notion maybe, but now since 3 years ago, I'm a constant user.
Why did you first use it?
I first used it in Singapore 3 years ago because they had half of my favorite websites blocked just because. I mean, I'm talking about social networks and stuff. Trust me, on other websites. And since then, I'm just a happy user of. It's more psychological for me. I tell myself, should be concealed. I'm typing my password in my bank account page. So I don't know, maybe there are evil hackers somewhere on my Wi-Fi network. I know nothing about the networks themselves and how to spoof data and read the signals from your PC, but I trust people who tell me online that you should have a VPN because it's safer. But apparently, especially if you're using a free VPN, you're not safe from everything that you might be willing to conceal yourself from. It's pretty much they sell your data to data brokers to begin with. All the websites you visit, they look at that. They have the logs. They even tailor the ads for you. It's all the VPN service that do this.
You need to remember, like, if you're not paying them, how are they making the money from their system? And
yes, exactly.
Many times, and you would be surprised to see that sometimes, like, data brokers is the nice part of the system because it's the official one. But as an employee who would have access to your data might be tempted to sell mail addresses, phone numbers, even addresses sometimes to on the darknet. There's very
billing accounts too, because
absolutely codes, credit cards. The darknet's never been myself, but read a lot about it. You can literally find anything nowadays.
It's a spooky place, honestly.
It is. You can buy credit card details. But at different levels, there are packages, I heard, which so you can buy it without the code, just the credentials on the card with the cryptogram at the back. But you can buy it with also the phone number that will receive the notification to allow it. So they hack into the phone, allow the transaction, and basically from there, there's no way for you to stop them. And banks nowadays are not up to date with that, so they won't refund you because they'll say you said yes to the transaction with your phone, and there should be no way of it happening unless you actually did it. So
it's a two-factor authentication that's not working as it's supposed to, though.
I'll just say,
more than sad.
I'll say this: if someone is really determined into getting something from you nowadays with technology, he will get it.
Find a way.
He will find a way always.
I hope I'm useless for all the hackers. So if you're listening, I'm serious.
If you're a hacker and you're listening, good job. Woo.
Well, as said by Hugo, you're not safe anywhere. So mind yourself. And I mean, if you're trying to change your geolocation, maybe online, that would be a good idea to have a free VPN for a couple of minutes. But don't rely on this because, I mean,
if you're not paying for something.
Don't expect it to be
product. That's what you mean.
Don't expect it to be good. I mean, I think we all learned the lessons of Facebook and stuff. If you're free to register, then there's some cost there hidden for you. Mostly it's your data.
Yeah.
And of course they will do it. They need money. They need money to eat and to uphold their servers. But also even paid VPNs are not perfect because they're being targeted by hackers, by all the data breaches and stuff. And we're not safe. So it's important to know that what VPN is and what its limitations are. So just be mindful of your own data and of what you do online, how you do it, because we're not free today. We're not that safe.
But it's I think just to reassure people a bit, but we know when we go on the internet it's not a safe place. However, it's not that bad. Like if you want to protect yourself completely, go in a cave and don't take a phone or anything and live like a caveman. Exactly. Nowadays you're connected all the time, and you know what, you'll have to deal with it. So just make passwords that are different for every website. I know I don't even do it sometimes.
Change it regularly. That's an important.
Just to make sure like your passwords, I think, is the best thing nowadays that can protect you. Make sure that you follow the rules and make sure you've got specific passwords for each website. I'll give you a quick example of something I do. So, for example, if you have a website like Facebook, you need a good password. What I would do is something that is personal to me. So let's say I'm going to put Hugo as the first things in my
Take notes,
in my password.
Yeah, we're noting.
No. Hugo, you said?
Yeah, Hugo. You can give it a go. You can try crack my account. So something that's personal to me, something that I know I will remember, that won't change or that would change very slightly, and something that is linked with the website. So when I look at it, I just remember that. So let's say Facebook is going to be my password, and now change the O's, the A's, and the E's to A's to 4s, O's to 0, and E's
like
to 3.
I never thought about that, but yeah, makes sense.
This is a cipher that only you will have the key, because for you it will be logical. You can do that with many things, and it works really well. And put some commas, dots, make it. For you, you need to make sure that it's easy to find, because you'll look at something and you're like, oh, of course, yes, it's
You
that.
still manage to not forget them.
No, because you
that's the
use
big-
you use if for example you go on Twitter, it's not going to be TW33T.
Yeah, you know that Donald Trump's account in Twitter was hacked 2 days ago, like by a guy who just picked up a password. He didn't brute force or anything. He was his 5th try and he found his password. His password was MAGA 2020 exclamation points. MAGA stands for Make America Great Again 2020 exclamation point, and he just got the access to it. And he didn't do anything with it. He could have done lots of things, but he just sent an email saying, "Come on, it's honestly." He didn't even have to factor authentication. Just like that, you get the access to this guy who tweets every day, who's active there. And,
But he did not publish anything on his account.
No, he didn't do anything. He just published proof that he had access to the account. He could change anything.
Still some good people in this world.
Yeah, I mean, but he was more disappointed than proud of himself, honestly. But yeah, that's a good, valid point.
Talking about privacy, that's a question that is quite interesting. When you enter a website, whether it's for reading an article or whatever, or buying clothes on internet, you got always to accept the conditions. What do you
cookies.
do? The cookies. Do you pay attention and no?
I mean, sometimes you have to, because it's a huge banner that is just you want to get rid of it and you just click whatever.
So you don't pay attention that much.
For me, it depends how bothered I am.
I mean,
if it's a website that I know I'm going to come back to regularly, then I'm just going to accept the cookies. If it's a website that I haven't seen much, but maybe there's something interesting there, then you can always refuse the cookies. They make it harder, because you need to click three times more instead of clicking once.
Make it harder, yes.
But they have to let you accept. You can. I think if you go. They call it parameters, or next to the accept there's it doesn't say reject, it says parameters or options,
everything,
and yeah, so I'd say if it's something you're gonna go on regularly, you might as well give them, because they might make your research more interesting later. They might get to know you. I think it's something that is great. It's been people look at it in a diabolical way, but what if actually your web browser knew you quite well and you need to find something quickly? Let's take an example of a song. You're looking over a song. We've all been at that point where you're like, oh, it's the song goes la 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 la. All right. Anyway, so and you go like this, and you try to find that song. Your browser doesn't know you at all, and he gets you Frank Sinatra. It's quite far off, right? But if your browser starts to know you, he knows your style, he knows what you like. Well, I think that would be nice. I would quite like my browser to go oh yeah, you're thinking of that. It's just much faster. So I don't think it's diabolical.
That was the topic of my thesis, of my bachelor thesis, data-driven marketing strategy between customization and creepiness.
Oh yeah.
So, yes. So most cases, creepiness wins. People find many things more creepy, but some things they find extremely convenient, such as, as you told us, songs. And not only, for example, if you're, searching for an Adidas shoe, you find it too pricey, then you go to a promo code website. It's going to give you this exact promo that you need for this exact shoe that's available, even maybe tailored for you. So people are like, oh yeah, I want that. I don't want it to listen to my speech when I talk, but the rest I'm okay with. Well, yeah.
I tell you what, even sometimes I find it rewarding, because it's a fun story. So I've coded a lot in Python, especially for the last 2 years, and I can't find snakes anymore. in my browser. It
yes.
always showed me codes.
Yeah,
So if I type
now.
Python, I will
Yeah.
never get to see the snake
Python,
unless I go
you need to do
Python snake Amazonia,
Yeah.
and I need to put
Pictures.
way more keywords.
Yes,
And
National
it
Geographic.
just
It's funny.
and it just means like, oh yeah, now I'm a real coder. Google thinks I'm a coder, so that's
Python
quite
is
rewarding.
It's just a language. Yeah. For you, Python is a snake that was named after a language, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. But well, no, I mean, it's a valid point, all of that. And you know, there are actually like companies in France here, I worked with them, that partner themselves with, for example, media outlets, like L'Equipe, for example. And they make your phone, tablet, listen to your surroundings all the time until they catch a jingle, and the jingle being a TV ad that passes. For example, you, a company, let's say you're selling cosmetics, and you have a TV spot that you bought for lots of money, and you're like, okay, I want this TV spot to work as much as it can. So you contact that company that's in partnership with the Equipe and all other media outlets, and you tell them, okay, here's the jingle, the audio cue of the commercial, the audio track. Here it is. When people with their phones and tablets the tablets hear the jingle, can you show them my banner? And why is it cool? Well, because every time some people watch TV and there's a commercial, they look at their phones, tablets. They don't care anymore about the commercial itself.
Oh.
And it's very effective because the commercial is going to attack from the TV. The phone is going to hear it, show you the same banner for the same commercial. Like it's a pop-up. It's a huge pop-up you can't miss. And they found it to be effective. But most of the people were sure that it was a joke. That when I was telling them that it was possible, I was like, no, that's a company. They exist. I worked with them. I've listened to their pitch, to their
To be fair, I never heard that. So
me neither.
Here you go.
I pay attention now.
And that's like this thing was rated the worst on my creepiness scale when I was doing
It is super
surveys.
creepy.
Yeah.
No, that, for example, I wouldn't like. If I'm not watching the ad and I'm on my phone, it definitely means I don't care about the bloody ad.
But okay, to make it fair and like less creepy, those things are not connected to service like right away. It's a thing that happens on your phone. So your phone preloads, the cues that it has to react to. And then when you hear them, okay, at least it's not a direct contact, but I mean, come on. Yeah, here we go. I mean, data privacy is a huge topic we can talk about for hours and hours, but let's make a tour. Let's change the theme. Let's make it clockwise. So, Maël, what do you have for us today?
Yeah, I've got a short news from the big company you might know, Alphabet.
Of course. The famous.
Yeah, obviously. So it's basically about Reveal. The Alphabet company revealed its last project, which is about agricultural tech. More or less, it's this project is called Mineral, like a mineral, and it's a project that develops responsible agriculture using software tools. So via the application of machine learning, which you might know for sure, they use data from agriculture to improve the processes. From data collection in situ in the fields and external sources. The algorithm based on machine learning is enabled through this technology to collect the data, information very basic, like the plant size, the leaves, how big are the vegetables or fruits, and they combine and analyze that with environmental factors like the soil, the weather, the temperature, humidity, and things like that. With all this information and how they treat with a good algorithm, they are able to identify the patterns on how plants grow and interact with the specific environment. So make it more powerful, make it more interesting for agriculture to improve the treatments, for less treatments, more targeted in some specific fields. Improve the yields, forecast, and the soil fertility and production.
That's funny because it crosses like lots of fields that are kind of buzzword fields today, like IoT, machine learning, all the improved old industries that we have today with agriculture, for example.
Definitely.
That's a great example of
it's a big deal. Like the technology in agriculture, it's more and more important. Makes me think of it kinds of echo with the current announcement of the green objectives of the Common Agricultural Policy, the CAP or PAC, Politique Agricole Commune for the French, in the EU, and they try to promote such a responsible agriculture and try to involve more technologies and techniques in this industrial
Yeah, I find this super interesting actually because I specialize in machine learning and
Yeah.
robotics in my last year at Warwick. And up to me, it's amazing to think that one day we might have a farmer that is only helped by robots in order to harvest the fields and take care of the animals. And I think, yeah, as you said, data is the first step. Then we're going to introduce like collecting the data, then introduce robots to help us. And I don't think many people I've heard say it's kind of scary, but I don't think so. I think it's quite amazing to show you what we can do on a technological level.
Yeah, I just hope that it leads to not only bigger yields and better crops, but also to like a more greener place,
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Of course.
less, I don't know, less inconvenient type of farming with like better techniques and more efficiency.
But the fact that you raised the fact that some people might be scared of these technologies, it's totally understandable.
Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah,
It's like since
course.
the beginning
Robots are
of
gonna feed
humanity, I would say everything that is new is a bit scary or threatening.
I think what is really threatening for someone is the unknown. Like you see
Yeah.
something working, you don't quite understand how it works, and you go like, "Damn, it can do things better than me." But if I can reassure people about robots, don't worry. Like if you've seen the movie I, Robot with Will Smith,
Yeah, it's
we're not there
Nice.
at all, and I think it's pure science fiction. Robots, you need to remember, are really good at doing some tasks, very specific
But
things.
can they write a symphony?
Some AI can.
That was a famous quote from iRobot, so now maybe we crossed.
No,
this-
actually,
crossed
we
this
did.
point. So here we go.
But I saw that the MIT was raising a debate. There's a robot, a robot actually with artificial intelligence that painted a piece of art, and a philosopher was saying, "Can you call it art, though?"
It's a big question.
Yeah.
Well,
What do you think? I want your opinion. Would you call if a machine, because let's call it what it is, a machine that has maybe some kind of thinking, but of thinking that is purely mathematical and logical, can it produce something that you would call
turning
art?
the other way, in the other sense? Therefore, the art wouldn't be the result of this machine, but maybe more the scientist that does the machine.
So through the scientist,
'Cause
you
he's the
create
creator,
art.
right? I don't
Through
know.
the
That's
machine, the
an
More like
scientist
a
creates
machine,
art.
it's a brush, and you're like an artist as an engineer. Maybe my high school philosophical teacher taught me to call everything an art, an art form. So yeah, this is an art form. I mean, at least for the engineer.
Yeah, I think
At
that's
least for
it.
him.
I think
I mean, he's creating something new with his algorithms. Yes, yet they're logical, but he's trying to break this world's ordinary flow by something new. So,
I think if, in my opinion, if to call something art, you need to create it and you need to feel. Like, I don't think there's any kind of art that is just without feelings. Like the artist communicates something, and I don't think a machine can communicate feelings as it doesn't feel anything.
but then,
Yet.
as they say, the beauty is in the
Very
eyes of the one
reassuring.
who observes. So if you feel something when when you're looking at the picture, at the painting, then the job is done.
Yeah,
If
maybe.
it makes you feel sad, happy, or something,
Yeah,
doesn't
you got a
matter
point
what-
on that. Definitely, I didn't think about it. But
it
makes
doesn't
sense.
matter whether the machine felt it because it didn't yet. But
So
yeah, if you feel something, I mean,
then it becomes art to you.
To you,
Ah,
yeah, and
fair
that's
enough.
what
yeah,
matters,
It's
yeah,
a
so-
fair point you raised.
I
So
didn't
that-
think we would talk about what we define art
what is
for
beautiful.
this
no?
podcast.
I think it's great.
See?
I mean, and I would love the people who are going to listen to this podcast to just share also their feeling about this. It would be really interesting to see what people think about that.
Yeah, so leave your comment everywhere where you're listening to this podcast. So we're gonna be glad to answer. No, but that's interesting because those all the AI algorithms that are online and the Gauguin that can beautify your pictures, the algorithms that transform your selfie into a painting, a Renaissance painting.
Mm.
You ask yourself, well, this painting is way more beautiful than the picture that I provided. How's this not art then? So yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's valid. I mean, yeah. Do you have something to share with us, Hugo, with like
Well,
a less artsy theme, maybe? I don't know.
continuing on
more
this, I've got something that might scare you or not. So, scientists have created a skin basically for robot, and now they can feel pain. Robots can feel pain.
We're almost there. I mean, feelings. I mean, starts with pain, of course.
So, what do you think?
I'm a bit confused.
No.
I'm a bit confused.
Why do
Yeah.
you make robots suffer? What's your reflex? Like,
What's the idea behind that?
Sadistic scientists just make robots suffer. I can see that from it. No, so the way it works is that they created a kind of skin that is, it's a smart skin. Let's say it that
What
way.
do you call a smart
of course it
skin?
is.
Yeah, you put smart in front of everything, don't you? So the way it works is that
love this
instead of having
definition.
one central intelligence, instead of having one central thing in the robot that makes a decision, it's divided in many smaller components. And for this, so when it feels something, when it feels pain in this case, the rest of the skin will adapt to this. What is it?
For this robot, the existence is pain. Like it's just quite literally.
No.
That's the only thing.
I guess it would be horrible to only feel pain. Oh, it's a good thing they don't think, because
I mean,
I'd be pretty depressed.
I mean, but okay, what do they plan to use it in? I mean, apart from like I don't know, torture dungeons for robots, where can it be used?
So it's interesting because the robot could adapt its behavior from feedback.
Okay, yes, but that sounds
Good
that's
news.
worse news.
It
Even worse news. I mean, imagine you put this thing on a Boston Robotics robot, the one that can run and jump, or a dog, the one that you kick around. I mean, that's then think it's gonna rebuild.
Well, what I can see happening is that if you kick it and you make it feel pain, it will just avoid you from now on.
If the first law of robotics works well, which I'm not quite sure is going to happen, but
that's how you code
let's
it.
hope for that.
But no, but like let's say they will adapt their behavior, and also what they've developed is there's this kind of gel that if the skin is broken, it auto repairs.
Does it work on us too, on humans?
No.
No. Alright.
Not yet.
Can I replace my skin with smart skin? I'm gonna be feeling only
Let's
pain,
ask
but
let's
I
ask the
better not,
professional.
No, I changed my mind.
Do you want to feel extra pain?
No, I'm fine. It's like, I changed my mind.
Feel it
completely.
twice.
I mean, it can have some audience to it.
No.
Some target market. I mean, have a couple of places where to
I'm not
market
sure
it.
we want to go in that.
But that scares me. Thanks, Hugo, before yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Just keeping you updated
No,
with
robots can feel
robots and
pain. I
everything.
hope you're happy. The people who created it. Okay, wow. I don't know how to continue from this topic, but
We've
let's say that
traumatized the
China and
audience.
Ireland are trying to regulate kids and their digital imprints. So when you're a kid, you're having your Facebook page. When did you have your Facebook page or like whatever page?
Mel,
What age?
tell us.
Let me think. It's probably before high school. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was like early middle school, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I was like
I think
10,
so.
11.
God,
10,
guys.
11.
10, 11, I'm telling you.
My
Really?
parents always forbidden me from
That
having
was good of them.
from having Facebook, and then so I went through half my secondary school without it, and then I was just missing out on so many things. I felt left aside, and then not being able to talk to people via Facebook, not to be able to see what they posted. Even if now I go back to it, it was so insignificant. Like I was like losing my time really. So I created a fake account.
You're
Fake
still
account.
losing your time from time to time, right?
Unfortunately, those video feeds from Facebook, they would just make me lose so much time.
Machine learning algorithms know you so well.
Yeah, definitely. And the worst is that sometimes they show me videos I've already seen, but they know I'm going to watch them again. And that makes me so scared. I'm like, oh God, they just know how to make me lose time.
Masterminds.
I'm still confused with the algorithm of social media. Really, because I don't understand how they target my account. Because I find like many videos on Instagrams or pictures, I'm really confused to understand how it came up to me. Like, I don't understand.
But do they tailor you well? Like when
No,
you see those
not
pictures?
at all. That's the
No?
point. Not at all. It's like I don't know, bombs and waffles and I'm just confused. I
watch
never
them at
typed
least?
like bomb in exploding car or something, and I still have that, or a crash of two boats. I've got many of them. I don't get it.
Maybe the social medias knows you better than you know
Yeah,
yourself,
exactly.
which
Trust
would
the
be scary.
algorithm.
So,
My passion
Maël, please
is
tell us.
bombs and
Trust your algorithm. It's you're being in denial.
I think so. You're right.
No, but for me, it's even like weirder because some of like not I would say 70% of my feed as well will tell it to me. So every time I see those videos, like wow, how do they know? But then 30% is something completely off. So I still feel safe because I see videos that are done for me, and then I see a video that's completely off world. I'm like, okay, then you're not that smart yet. You don't know me so well. You put me this video of a cat, even though I'm not a cat person. I'm like,
Unless,
okay, that's fine, but that maybe they make me feel safe, so I stay in the network for long.
unless they're always trying to learn what you like and what are the new
Or they
things
make
you
me-
like,
they
and
want to
they
make me
just
love cats
throw
and-
random things at you, and if they see there's a new
Yeah.
thing you actually spend time on, they
Leave a
just
window
know
for tests.
is the next thing they're gonna throw at you. So
That's interesting.
maybe
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not actually off at all. Maybe they're just experimenting and showing you new stuff every day to know you even better.
So social media enlarges your horizons. That's a great headline for some.
Yeah,
news
actually,
outlets.
it's said this way.
Yeah. I mean, regulating kids, especially online, because when I was a kid, besides posting unfunny memes, I was making lots of spelling mistakes and stuff, and I don't know if I wanted it to be there. Like, at least I want to have control over it, so I can I don't know, click a button, erase everything before I was 18.
Can you do that?
You can't, but you can like have a logout of everything they have on you.
Takes
And I did it for
lots of time.
Oh yes, and yes, because I like many awful memes. I still want to unlike them, but too late. I think I have to spend time on this.
Yeah, I
So
think
if
it's
you could do
important.
just that,
Mm-mm-mm.
like, I don't know, it could be called digital purge for you as a personality. I mean, you don't feel anymore good anymore with I don't know what you thought before or what feelings you expressed before. So you're like, okay, fine, this part of my life is now has to be gone. So goodbye, my.
I can see a guy go,
awkward
okay,
years."
I'm not anymore a Nazi. Delete.
No, I'm yeah. well, let's hope it's gonna be our future though.
Is it like the age until when it's possible to delete all your past?
Oh,
When is that? Is it
Actually, it's-
until you
Is it
turn
18?
18 or something?
I think
Well,
it's
no, it's
18.
in
actually
Ireland, it's
It depends. In Ireland and China, they want to reinforce like the control over kids' data.
Oh.
But then what you're talking about is actually implemented in many countries, and it doesn't really depend on your age. You can at any time say to Facebook, okay, now I want to be forgotten. It's the right to be forgotten. The one that's implemented in many countries. So
GDPR, right?
the GDPR talks about that, as far as I remember. But talking about it and implementing it is different things. So we still have to deal with those American social networks that are still in the US, and we don't really have full control over them here in Europe. But still, yeah.
I mean, recently with what happened to Monsieur Paty, there's going to be a lot of work that's going to be done with social medias. I think the EU, France will get the EU to actually get things done with social medias, because there's actually a real danger with social medias. Like
It raises the question of whose responsibility that is.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it a platform? Is it? I don't know.
Because there's this debate where the social media says we're only platform, we only are a support for people to put what they want. But what's interesting in that the medias, they're responsible for what IDs, images, content in general is vehicled by them, through them. So what I find quite funny is that they're called social medias. There's only like this social word at the beginning, and they're like kind of untouchable. Everything that happens within their perimeter of activity is nothing to do with them. And I think, in my opinion, I think that's a bit of an abuse. I don't agree with that. I think they've got many people working on it, and they should check their content.
What do you think they should do, like, really better? Like, what this has to be reinforced, like, if you were the head of all social media?
Oh God, it would be a question I think that you need a lot more information to investigate. So, but from the little things I know, I think I would be a lot more strict on the rules of what is published, and who talks. But then there's the in France there's the right to express yourself.
Yeah.
You can say many things in France.
But
So.
there's still no right to I don't know, call people to violence or stuff. So this is still enforced. So.
Yeah, so what really shocked me and what some people do nowadays, and I think it's very sad that some people do that, is that if you don't like someone and you want to make their life hell, you go on social media, you accuse them of something. Sometimes that's not even true.
With no proof.
And exactly, no proof. So what's great with social media, or what's the worst about it, is that you always find someone that has nothing to do and on that moment and will just take a hint and do whatever you like, whoever you designated will hunt them down because they've got nothing else to do. And I think giving full name, address, phone number, email of someone else on social media should be banned. Like it's a horrible thing. It's just, you can spread basically their life with no filter on social media, meaning that people with bad intentions could literally find them in real life, which is actually what happened. So,
to be fair, for social media, they're trying to monitor, to filter the unruly stuff that pops out here and there, but still, it's not yet there. We still have those clusters of hatred, sometimes in different parts of it, and there's still lots of work to be done.
Yeah.
But we can on this sad note, we can pass to a happier thing to end our podcast. It's gonna be a little quiz for you guys.
Ooh.
I don't know about you. Do you think of data analyst as maybe a possible future for you in a career?
Yes, indeed.
View.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, close your eyes and imagine a perfect data analyst. Describe him to me, like at least what he does. What does he? Because you want to become one, maybe.
Okay.
Actually, so what for you is a perfect data analyst? Where does he work? What does he do? How does he
Tell us
live?
about your dreams.
Yeah, make us dream too.
I think the big point is data analyst is a quite generic name, depending on which industry you're working on, whether you work in marketing team or finance, or you can basically be a data analyst for everything, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
I was data analyst to a sense in financial activities. I was studying finance and computing data to produce data analysis, data reports. To some extent, that was data analyst. But meantime, you can be data analyst for marketing, and so.
And it's quite different from what you do, but it's still data analyst. So it's a very broad term. Because I've googled almost 100 of job offerings for data analysts here in Ile-de-France.
Mm-hmm.
And I've compiled some main data that you might be interested in. To begin with, in the required competence section, what do you think was the most researched and the most research competence in a data analyst?
I'd say
it can be both technical, like office suite, or it can be characteristics like something.
On the technical aspect, there's definitely going to have Excel skills.
It has Excel.
It's the most commonly used.
Excel. What do you think is the biggest one? I was surprised. I thought it was going to be Excel. I'm telling you, it's not.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be Excel. Excel is number.
Is it not?
Is it
It's
R?
number 3. I'm telling you.
R?
No, it's not R.
You mean technical skills or soft skills?
Technical skills.
focusing
Excel is
on-
number 1. Weirdly, but it is that. I don't know. They just let's think of as a recruiter. They kind of, I think, know that you know Excel, so they want to specify something else that you don't necessarily know, but they want you to know it as a data analyst. It starts with an S.
SQL.
Exactly. Hugo said SQL, which is number 1 requirement, and it's 20% in 20% of job requirements. It's there. No, more than 20%. It's 20% of all the mentions of all the technical skills. There is SQL. So SQL is the number 1 in all the They always precise. Yeah, SQL knowledge is going to be very good. SQL, SQL. So yeah, SQL is a structured query language, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It's a way to interact with a database, to extract data, join data, blend data. Of course, as a data analyst, the one who wrangles data, who works with it, extracting is of course important. It's not a given skill. It's not everyone knows it by default. It's not that easy, not that difficult, but still, they want you to know it beforehand. So that's number one.
What's number two then?
Not Excel.
Before Excel?
Not Excel,
Oh.
telling you.
I'm surprised, to be fair.
And those, to be honest, are the required skills. Like the ones that are not, it's a plus to have them. That's like, we need those. So what do you think is the second one?
Would it be coding or... No, I
it
don't
is-
think
it
so.
is
Is it
coding.
coding? Or
Well,
Python?
I reckon it's
Python.
Python.
It is
Yeah.
Python. It's 14% of all dimensions are Python. Python is like, at least they don't ask for much, but they ask still for basics, for also basics of data analytics. I know libraries, pandas and NumPy. But yeah, Python, they always say, and of course it's a number one in the it's a plus section. So Python is definitely something that people would want to need. But then it's Excel. We're finally there. There it's Excel, and
Interesting.
What is left from technical skills that I didn't call yet that a data analyst might need?
I think the basics of Microsoft, like using Word, PowerPoint, and things like that.
They don't mention that anymore, but yeah. Well, I think it's implied, but
Yeah.
they don't mention it. You know,
Yeah,
they mention it like once or twice, but I mean, they hope that you have it.
it's considered as a prerequisite.
Yeah, but like a huge section that's still left out is the database, the data visualization software, and it's actually like equally divided between Tableau and Power BI, and they want that, to help you track tendencies over time, to help you visualize what you searched for, because you as a data analyst, you process information, then you have to present it to somewhere, because you're a bridge between the most technical part and the business part.
So if you're applying for a data analyst job, you know what to put in your CV, right?
Exactly.
Or at least
exactly.
don't put it if you're not sure you have it. Otherwise it's,
Don't go to an interview saying that you've got a skill and then they ask you about that skill during the interview. And
what
then
about a
like,
test?
I have
now?
a partial amnesia. I'm sorry, I can't. I forgot everything
I
about.
don't have my
Just go,
glasses.
I wrote that. Nah, scrap it. I lied.
I mean,
I lied. See, I got the
Caught me
interview.
red-handed. At least I'm honest, you see. No, but then it's R2. R is the least mentioned of the technical skills, along with SAP, which I think SAP is going a little bit in the past. It's mostly like the traditional big companies that still use it. They require it. Not in startups. You will find it, but not as often. And then there are also demands for on NoSQL platforms such as MongoDB. They want you to know how to work with different types of databases that are still gaining popularity today. So yeah.
Yeah, MongoDB. I've worked with it once.
How is it?
Similar to SQL, I think. If you're a good SQL, if you've got a good level in SQL, you shouldn't be too troubled in learning MongoDB. It's just another platform, really. It's like if you know how to speak French and you want to pick up an accent, really. You change slightly your methods and you just use it again and again until you get really good at it. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Still, there are tendencies to get into, because MongoDB still slowly replaces SQL, but SQL is still gonna stick around because it's used by many companies and it's not easy to switch from one to another. Well, yeah, and to finish on all that, as you said, my data analysis is a broad thing. You can be working in finance and doing data analysis, but in finance, and you can work in retail or factory management. You can still be a data analyst while doing very different things. And it's very broad, but the most important question, the salaries. Let's talk about the internship salaries. What do you think is the range?
I think that's I don't want to insult your question, but it really depends once again on the industry. So,
but I was surprised because it was rather narrow, the range. It was not really 0 to 100. Like,
I would say
even in France, you focus on France,
France
right?
and Paris, to be precise.
Okay,
I'd say
definitely
40k a year.
No, I'm talking about internship for now. Like,
internship. If you get an internship at 40k a year, please tell me. I am taking it.
We're all good at that.
No, starting at 500 extreme minimum, because it's the legal minimum, more or less that. But I'd say for master students.
What do you think is an average thing?
Oh no.
Between
It's actually
800, 900, and
I'd say 900. I would settle for 900.
That's an average, you think? I would surprise you because the average still quite nicely bottles up around 1,000.
Oh,
That's
alright.
That's a
That's a good
it's an
internship.
average, I would say.
What's your guess?
Hmm?
What's your guess?
I
Hugo?
was saying 900
Yeah.
for the.
And to make you feel better, not many people asked you to be a data analyst for a minimum thing. I mean, the lowest I saw was like 800.
I mean, it requires skills that do need a lot of knowledge, so they can't pay you
show
to.
up. You can just show up, and you still have to pass technical tests. That's a thing that they do. But like, yeah, it goes up to by the way, if you're in a big four and you're doing some data analyst related stuff, it goes up to 2,000 easily.
Oh.
Like 1,500, that's normal if you're in a big company, and
All right.
which is more than good. But so yeah, it's a promising thing. I mean, keep an eye on the tendencies. It's evolving. And who knows? Maybe we're watched by the future data analysts. So give us a call if it's the case. If you're hiring, especially. Yeah. But well, that's a great opportunity.
And do you have if you become a data analyst in your day-to-day job, do you have in France, especially in Paris, how much do you earn per year?
Oh, then that depends, because if you're a junior data analyst, it usually starts at around 40,000 a year.
Yes, that's
which is good for a post.
I mean, for a first job, it's pretty good.
Well, yes, it's pretty good. It's pretty much a developer level, like a IT developer level. But it goes also from like 38K maybe. Well, for sometimes. But if you're working for bigger companies, of course it's going to be bigger. Of course it's going to be better. And it goes up to like senior data analyst, and then the career path is pretty wide. You can become a chief data officer, chief data governance officer, chief anything officer. Because I mean, now this branch of data in your company is getting more and more power. So I mean, that's definitely a thing for the future.
I do think it's the right time to enter the market of data analysis and data science or data engineering. So start your careers within the next 5 years, and if you do well, then you should be pretty settled.
That's a great.
I'm sure we can do another podcast in 5 years to review.
Yeah, 5 years.
Exactly.
Exactly. Well, anyways, I think it's about time for us to finish. Thanks again to Maël Morand and Hugo Carotti. My name is Alexandre Nino, and this is the end of the first 3 episode of Big Data Month of Big Data Club in ESCP Business School. I see you next month.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.